Naruto, God-level system author, Blue Water God. Chapter 126, Otsutsuki Hamamura's death became a traitor. You should have no means now. Tianshen took the knife and walked to the miserable Otsutsuki Hamamura. Otsutsuki Hamamura raised his head with difficulty and looked at Tianshen with a strange smile on his face. Escape Spirit Storm. HMPH. You dare to play with your spiritual power in front of me. Tianshen dismissed it. He thought that Otsutsuki Hamamura still had some trump card, so it turned out that he had brought him vegetables. Ever since he got the flowing edge, Tianshen's spiritual power has been growing rapidly, especially when Tianshen completed the initial solution. It made Tianshen's spiritual power soar. Now Tianshen's spiritual power is much stronger than that of Otsutsuki Hamamura, an old monster that has survived for thousands of years. Invisible spiritual power formed a sword and appeared in Hyuga hands, and the storm formed by Otsutsuki Hamamura's spiritual power was easily smashed by Hyuga. That's all you have to do. Go with peace of mind. I will make good use of your corpse. Ha 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 ha. Tianshen laughed a few times, then stabbed Orenryoao into Otsutsuki Hamamura's body, and then reached out and pressed 15 on Otsutsuki Hamamura's head. Escape Soul Search. A huge amount of spiritual power poured into Otsutsuki Hamamura's body, and the mental power was like a blade, scavenging the memories in Otsutsuki Hamamura's soul. Wanting to get my memory, wishful thinking. Otsutsuki Hamamura roared miserably. Under the watchful eyes of Tianshen, Otsutsuki Hamamura himself annihilated his own soul, knowing that he could not escape death, and not wanting to suffer the pain of searching for his soul again. Otsutsuki Hamamura committed suicide. Looking at Otsutsuki Hamamura, who had gone silent, Tianshen sighed and stood up. If he gave Tianshen a few more seconds, he could get all the memories of Otsutsuki Hamamura. But he didn't expect Otsutsuki Hamamura to be so decisive and ruthless that it wiped out his own soul. Although Tianshen got a lot of memories, they were all the moves of the Otsutsuki Hamamura club, which made Tianshen a little disappointed. Tianshen does not lack the ability to move. What he lacks is the information about the Naruto world, and Tianshen's understanding of the Naruto world is all understood by watching anime and manga. Now this is the real world, and the general development may be the same, but the details and the truth may be completely different. Tianshen was not too disappointed in not getting the memory he wanted about this ninja world, and the unknown is not necessarily a pleasure. What's more, Tianshen is not afraid of any unknown changes at all. He has the strength to look down on everything. Looking at the corpse that was nailed to the ground by Orenryoao, Tianshen showed a smile on his face. This trip to the moon made Tianshen very satisfied. The giant Tenseizen. The Tenseizen of Otsutsuki Hamamura, and the corpse of Otsutsuki Hamamura. Otsutsuki Hamamura's corpse is also a good thing to use as a puppet. Although he was defeated by Tianshen, there is no doubt about the strength of Otsutsuki Hamamura. Even if his strength is reduced a little, he can sweep the world of ninjas. When the Otsutsuki trio in the six-path immortals do not show up, who can stop Otsutsuki Hamamura? After sealing the body of Otsutsuki Hamamura, Tianshen took out Otsutsuki Hamamura's Tensigun. After thinking about it, he decided to absorb the pupil power. After the pupil power was absorbed, Otsutsuki Hamamura's Tensigun also turned into powder and dissipated. Poor Otsutsuki Hamamura was indirectly killed on the moon by Tianshen without anyone knowing. After the death of Otsutsuki Hamamura, the moon was left with Kaguya, who did not know where it was sealed. After scanning around, Tianshen used space teleportation to leave the riddled moon, which could be broken at any time. Back to Konoha. Yo, it's very lively. I don't know why you are blocking my door. Tianshen had a smile on his face, but a cold glow appeared in his eyes. Looking at the group of people besieging his door, Tianshen knew that the visitors were not good. Tianshen, you are suspected of murdering the ninjas in the village and stealing the Book of Konoha seals and a lot of money. You can plead guilty. Danzo pointed at Tianshen and shouted sharply. A golden knife light flashed across. Blood was scattered on the ground, an arm flew into the sky, and then fell to the ground, splashing a trace of dust. Ugh! Danzo screamed. I don't like someone pointing at me. Tianshen said lightly. Tianshen, openly attacking Konoha ninjas, do you want to rebel? Sarutobi Hizan snapped. The surrounding Anbu also took out the kunai and shinobi swords to face Tianshen. Rebel? Originally I was about to leave. But you still acted in this play. It seems that you won't see blood. You don't know how many eyes Ma Wanai has. Tianshen took her off the forehead guard tied to his arm and drew a trace on it. Sarutobi Hizan's expression froze, and he said sharply, Tianshen, are you going to defect to Konoha? Get out of the way quickly. I don't know if you are lacking in your brains. Come to trouble me if you have nothing to do. You will feel uncomfortable when you are full, right? Tianshen smashed Hiruzen Sarutobi with one palm, then ignored the surrounding Anbu ninjas and entered the house. Anbu's ninja looked at Tianshen, a little afraid to move, and could only watch the rebel ninja who attacked Naruto enter the house. After Tianshen entered the house, he heard Mikoto and the others talking and laughing. "What's going on with those guys outside? What else can I do to trouble you? The house you bought before has been seized. It seems that you can't be the real estate king," Duke Sinai said gloatingly. "What?" Rixianchin jumped up suddenly. "I sealed my house, and Sarutobi cut a big dog's guts, and I'll kill him." Hixianchin walked out with a knife in hand. He dared to be greedy for his money, whether it was Hixianchin who stopped 357 without a knife, or Sarutobi Hibiki, and they floated away. All right. Tsunade stretched out his hand and pulled him. Although he had cut off the master-disciple relationship with Sarutobi High, he couldn't just watch Rixianchin chop him to death. "It's okay not to kill him, but they have to spit out what they eat, or I'll spit out Konoha today. Pack up and get ready to leave. Konoha can't stay any longer. I'm already betrayal now." Rixianchin turned his head and took out the ninja forehead and said, "How did you become a betrayal?" Tsunade asked in astonishment. "That guy in Denzo made me very upset, so I cut off his arm, so I became a rebel." After Rixianchin replied, he kicked the door and walked out. Tsunade shook his head and didn't say anything, just betray forbearance. "You can't be light, the door is smashed by you," Mikoto said in a coquettish manner. "Anyway, I have to leave. If it's broken, it will be broken." Rixianchin waved his hand and said indifferently, "Sarutobi Hizan, you all dares to embezzle the property of the young master. I said how shameless you are." After walking out of the house, Hixianchin roared angrily. "Rixianchin, you have the courage to openly attack Hokage. You are going to be the enemy of the entire Konoha." "What are you? What's your business here?" Hyuga Tatsu chopped the talkative Anbu to death with a knife, looking at Hiruzen Sarutobi. Chapter 127. The Eternal Kaleidoscope of Sarutobi Hizan. "Rixianchin, how can Konoha tolerate you by killing your fellow villagers?" Sarutobi Hizan said with an ugly face, killing Konoha's ninja in front of his face. "This is the old face of slapping him." "I need Konoha to accommodate me," Rixianchin said disdainfully. "You are hopeless." Hiruzen Sarutobi was furious. "Stop talking nonsense, give me my real estate money, and I'll leave immediately, otherwise don't blame me for being ruthless." Rixianchin didn't want to talk nonsense with these people at all. "Rixianchin, you stole the book of Konoha's seal and Konoha's money, and now you dare to attack Hokage, act as a murderer in Konoha village, and take him down for me." Danzo roared. "It seems that you don't want to give it." Rixianchin's face sank. Although he doesn't care about money very much, he doesn't allow others to occupy his property. Rixianchin is very domineering in his bones. Just when Rixianchin drew his sword again, Tsunade came out and held Rixianchin. "Forget it. The money should be used to feed the dog." "No, just feed the dog. The dog will bark twice to please you. If you feed it to them, they will only trouble you." Rixianchin shook his head firmly. "Water escape, water dragon bullet." An Anbu ninja suddenly released a ninjutsu attack, and the target of the attack was the weakest Conan. "Suzu!" Mikoto shouted. The pink Suzu enveloped Conan, blocking the flying ninjutsu. "You are courting death." Mikoto had an angry look on her face. They had always treated Xionan as a little sister, and they would not allow others to hurt her. Although Xionan was not injured, Mikoto and the others were already angry. With a slap of Suzanu's arm, the ninja who released the ninjutsu was instantly smashed into flesh, and there were many unlucky people standing with him, and they were also smashed into flesh. "What? Kaleidoscope Sharingan?" Sarutobi Hizan looked at Mikoto's eyes in shock, and the blooming cherry blossoms were spinning in Mikoto's eyes. God's sins can be forgiven, self-inflicted sins can't be lived. Rixianchin's eyes gradually turned cold. The wind was raging, and the surrounding Anbu ninjas were blown away by the raging wind, and the heavy momentum oppressed Danzo and Sarutobi Hizan not far away. Tsunade glanced coldly, but said nothing. Hixianchin disappeared, and when he reappeared, he came to Sarutobi Hizan and Danzo, and kicked both feet at the speed of light. "It's not my fault that you killed yourself." Seeing the two people who were spewing blood and flew out, Rixianchin said in a cold voice, because there was a lot of movement here. All Konoha's ninjas rushed over, looked at the scene for a moment, and then quickly helped Hizan, Sarutobi and Danzo up. "Teacher, what's going on?" Okimaru asked suspiciously. "Hixianchin defected to the village. Take the traitor Hixianchin for me." Before Sarutobi Hizan spoke, Danzo spoke first, but Sarutobi Hizan did not refute Danzo's words. Okimaru was stunned for a moment, and then saw Rixianchin tied to his arm, with a knife-marked forehead. "Hey, I didn't expect Chen Jun to become a traitor. It seems that we have become enemies," Okimaru said, licking the corner of his mouth. "Yeah, I feel that being a traitor and forbearance is very powerful, so I should be a traitor and forbearance," Rixianchin said with a smile. The surrounding ninjas looked at Rixianchin speechlessly, which was the most bizarre reason they had heard. "Give me the money that belongs to me and I'll leave. Don't force me to be rough." Cough cough. Sarutobi Hizan coughed out a mouthful of blood, which was also mixed with small pieces of internal organs. "Hokage-sama, are you alright? The medical ninja, hurry up and come here." Everyone looked nervously at Sarutobi Hizan, and Danzo next to him was very depressed. His injuries were heavier than that of Sarutobi Hizan. Why no one cares about him? "It's alright." Sarutobi Hizan waved his hand, then looked at Hyuga Tatsu. Hyuga Tatsu, Uchiha Mikoto, you murdered the village ninjas. The sin is unforgivable. Surrender. Have you been kicked, stupid? Hizan looked at Sarutobi Hizan, who was talking nonsense, and asked suspiciously. Hizan, don't be mad. Do you think Konoha really can't do anything about you? Kinching, come out. Sarutobi Hizan said in a low voice. Hizan looked at the confident Sarutobi Hizan, and looked behind him curiously. Eternal Kaleidoscope Shaker. No wonder you are so confident to trouble me. Looking at the pair of Eternal Kaleidoscope writing wheel eyes on the opposite side, Hizan nodded clearly. In the past, Hizan thought that Sarutobi's head was broken, and he dared to come to trouble him. Now it seems that Sarutobi's head is not broken, but he came prepared. It's a pity he doesn't know his specific strength. You are Uchiha Watching. You are not dead? Danzo looked at Uchiha Watching in astonishment. In fact, Danzo didn't know that Sarutobi Hidden had this trump card. Uchiha Kinching? Do you know Mikoto? Hizan asked curiously. The other party actually had an Eternal Kaleidoscope writing wheel eye, and Hizan couldn't even be curious. The conditions for opening the Eternal Kaleidoscope Shaker are harsh and outrageous. If the other party can open it, it must not be easy for his relatives. I know a little bit. He is the genius of our Uchiha family, and he is also the younger brother of the second-generation Hokage apprentice Uchiha Hamamura, but it is rumored that he is dead. Mikoto said softly. Oh. So it is. Sun Xianchen nodded. Uchiha Kinching should have transplanted the eyes of Uchiha Hamamura, and Uchiha Hamamura also turned on the kaleidoscope. Cough. Kinching, the other party will hand it over to you. You have to be careful. The other party's strength is no less than your ancestor Uchiha Madara. Sarutobi Hizan coughed a few mouthfuls of blood and reminded Uchiha Kinching. Don't worry, leave it to me. Even if Madara Uchiha is alive, she will not be my opponent. Uchiha Kinching said proudly. Be careful, let's retreat. Sarutobi Hizan asked again worriedly, and then led the Konoha ninja to retreat. The next battle is not something they can intervene, so let's go and watch from a distance. Sarutobi Hizan had already evacuated the crowd and vacated the battlefield long before. Your words are very arrogant. If Madara Uchiha hears it, I don't know if he will come to you. Xianchen sneered. You will soon see my strength. Uchiha Kinching said proudly. Che, looking at your appearance, you knows that you are a freshman who just got the Eternal Kaleidoscope. Xianchen said. Humphrey, let you see the strongest power of our Uchiha family, the complete body Suzu. The blue Suzu appeared, with a height of 100 meters, with the power to oppress people's hearts. With such power, it should be able to defeat Hyuga Tatsu, right? Said Sarutobi Hizan in the distance, uncertainly. Okimaru next to Sarutobi Hizan shook his head. Although the 100-meter high Suzu was so oppressive that it was difficult for him to stand up to him, Okimaru did not think that he could defeat Hizan. The complete body Suzu also has Hizan, and Suzu is not Hizan's strongest move. Whether it is a powerful illusion, or the ninjutsu that once killed 7,000 ninjas with one blow, they are all powerful abilities like gods. The teacher's trouble with Xianchen this time is because he lost his mind. Chapter 128, Pupil Techniques. Tianshen is invalid. Mikoto, teach him a lesson, and let him know that there are heavens and people. Xianchen turned to Mikoto and said, yeah, good. Mikoto nodded, then gave a coquettish shout, full body Suzu. The pink full body Suzu appeared, slightly taller than the blue Suzu next to him. Why don't you let me shoot? I can hang him too. Jixin pouted and said, she has now cultivated into the immortal mode, and now she is looking for someone to try it. Xianchen rubbed Kushina's smooth hair vigorously, until Kushina showed a dissatisfied look, and then Xianchen let go. You are not skilled in the immortal mode now, so let's talk about it first. I feel very skilled, Kushina said dissatisfiedly. Next time you encounter a strong enemy, I will definitely let you take action. Let's see how Mikoto teaches each other first. Xianchen could only comfort him. Seeing the confrontation between the two huge Suzu, Xianchen didn't worry about Mikoto at all. Mikoto not only has the Eternal Kaleidoscope writing wheel eye, but also the fairy body. After years of practice, there is no need to worry about the chakra problem at all. The other party will not be able to. The chakra is not as good as Mikoto at all. Just consuming Mikoto can kill the 917 opponent. You actually turned on the Eternal Kaleidoscope writing wheel eye. Uchiha Kinching's expression was extremely ugly. HMPH. Eternal Kaleidoscope is not your exclusive. Streamer slash. Mikoto snorted softly, pulled out the long cherry blossom knife, and sent out a slash as fast as Streamer. Uchiha Kinching, who didn't react because of his astonishment, was slashed by Mikoto's sword light, and Suzu, who had a strong defense, was torn apart instantly. Uchiha Kinching's Suzu almost took a dozen steps back, causing the earthquake to tremble. No, I will form a 4 Scarlet Sun formation. Sarutobi Hizan strongly supported his body and roared loudly. Then Sarutobi Hizan, Danzo, Hatake Tsukumo, and Okimaru stood in one position, and then began to form seals, using the ultimate spirit formation technique called 4 Chi Yang formation. The 4 Scarlet Sun formation is indeed a barrier that can resist the 10-tailed beast Jade. Even if the one they use by Sarutobi Hizan cannot compare with the one used by the 4 Hokage together, there is no problem in defending against the aftermath of Suzu. But Sarutobi Hizan's face was ugly. I didn't expect Uchiha Mikoto to have an eternal kaleidoscope. Tianshen sat on the roof with Tsunade, Kushina, and Conan, watching the battle between the 2 Suzu. Like a melanita, no aftermath could get close to them. Sister Mikoto is amazing. Xionan's eyes sparkled and she admired Mikoto very much. Boom. 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 Suzu has a strong attack power, and can easily split several mountains with one sword. At this time, the 4 Red Sun formations have been destroyed. If the 4 Red Sun formations hadn't blocked the attack, Konoha would have been destroyed. Destroyed. Death to me. Uchiha Kingching roared. His huge fist slammed on Mikoto's Suzu, causing Mikoto to back up a few steps. Mikoto didn't show weakness either. Suzu swung the long sword in his hand, and the vacuum blade slashed on Suzu in Uchiha Kingching. Every blow can tear open the opponent's defense, so Uchiha Kingching has to consume a lot of chakra to repair Suzu. Although there are also many chakras in Uchiha Kingching, Suzu is very chakra intensive, and with the continuous repair of Suzu's gaps, how can it withstand such consumption? But within 10 minutes, Uchiha Kingching could no longer hold on, making Hiruzen Sarutobi, who was maintaining the 4 Red Yang formation outside, anxious. I heard Uchiha Kingching say that he is already comparable to Uchiha Madara, but now it's too embarrassing to be beaten up by a little girl. After holding on for another half a minute, Uchiha Kingching couldn't hold on anymore, so he quickly lifted Suzu and kept some chakra, otherwise he would have to wait to die after the chakra was exhausted. Damn, how come the other party has so many chakras? Uchiha Kingching said with a livid face. Feeling the empty chakra in the body and the little pupil power left, Uchiha Kingching didn't know what to do. Just as Xianchen guessed, Uchiha Kingching did just get the Eternal Kaleidoscope not long ago, but just after getting the Eternal Kaleidoscope writing wheel, Uchiha Kingching was a little arrogant, thinking that he is no worse than Madara Uchiha, and even in his thoughts, he is stronger than Madara Uchiha. In fact, when he stands in front of Madara Uchiha may not look at him directly. The current Uchiha Kingching has not yet entered the Super Shadow, but it is only the peak of the shadow level, and it is still far from it. It's nothing compared to Mikoto, who has entered the early stage of Super Shadow. Looking at Suzu, who is unmatched, Uchiha Kingching avoided Mikoto and went straight to Xianchen not far away. Thinking of the pupil technique that he awakened when he opened the kaleidoscope, Uchiha Kingching was hot in his heart, and this was the key to his comeback. You actually ran over to find me? Xianchen was stunned. Uchiha Kingching looked directly into Xianchen's eyes, with a hint of excitement in his eyes, and shouted, "Don't be a god." That's right. Uchiha Kingching's pupil technique is the strongest single illusion technique of Bishanjin, which can permanently change the will of others without being detected. However, although Bitanshin's ability is powerful, it is also very limited. Even if Uchiha Kingching now has the Eternal Kaleidoscope, it will take a 3-year interval to use it again every time it is used, but it is much better than the Kaleidoscope period when it took more than 10 years to use it once. Don't you want to be a god? Looking directly into Uchiha Kingching's eyes, Xianchen sneered at the corner of his mouth. Bitanshin is indeed powerful, but if you want to use it against me, it is not enough. The huge pupil power surged, and the spiritual power immediately counterattacked. Uchiha Kingching screamed in agony, then knelt on the ground with his head covered. A line of blood and tears flowed from his left eye, and dark red blood flowed from his nose and ears. Xianchen sneered and looked at Uchiha Kingching, who was kneeling on the ground. He didn't need to use Gaotan Yuan to be immune to this illusion attack, and he could attack the opponent by relying on his mental power. Bitanshin looks powerful, but that is to deal with people below the 6th level, and it is not very useful for people of the 6th level who are strong and sensitive. Although Xianchen did not enter the 6th path level, his spiritual power was stronger than that of the 6th path level. Uchiha Kingching playing illusion in front of him is like playing a big sword in front of Guangong. I don't know what it is. How could this be? Why doesn't my other gods work? Uchiha Kingching roared in disbelief. Because you met me, Xianchen said lightly. Bitanshin may not be useful to Uchiha Madara, let alone use it against Xianchen. Your left eye is of other gods, so what kind of pupil technique is your right eye? Is it also of gods? Xianchen asked curiously. Uchiha Shishui's kaleidoscope, both eyes are other gods, but the abilities are slightly different, but I don't know if Uchiha Kingching's is the same. Chapter 129, The Embarrassing Situation of Sarutobi Hizan. You think I'll tell you? Uchiha Kingching glared at Xianchen, covering his bleeding left eye. I need you to tell me. Xianchen pouted in disdain. If Xianchen really wants to know, he can directly probe his memory with Tensogen. Otsutsuki Hamamura can destroy his soul in front of him, but Uchiha Kingching can't do it. This barrier is very annoying. Bagua Shenkong palm. In front of Rixianchen's Bagua Shenkong palm, the Si-Chi-Yang formation made a cracking sound, and then shattered and dissipated. As expected of Otsutsuki Hamamura's physical skills, and the advanced Bagua empty palm, the power is really not small. Rixianchen praised. On the Bagua Shenkong palm, there is a stronger Lidao Shenkong palm, but like the 80 Shenkong strike, it needs blood to follow the net, and Rixianchen can't use it now. After the barrier was broken, the old Hokage's face turned red, and his eyes were extremely complicated. Now that his trump card is on his knees, what else can he do to deal with Rixianchen? Can he rely on himself? At this time, Sarutobi Hizan flashed a trace of regret in his heart. I regret not listening to Uchiha Kingching's words, thinking that he really has the strength comparable to Uchiha Madara. It is precisely because Uchiha Kingching said that his strength is stronger than Uchiha Madara, and he has the same eyes as Uchiha Madara, that the 3 generations are moved. In the eyes of the 3rd generation, even if Uchiha Kingching speaks loudly, he is not as good as Uchiha Madara, but with the same level of eyes as Uchiha Madara, it should not be worse than Rixianchen. In the eyes of the 3rd generation, I think that although Rixianchen is strong, he is not as good as Uchiha Madara. Moreover, Uchiha Kingching also told the 3 generations of the illusion of Tianshen, which greatly increased the confidence of the 3 generations. If they use other gods against Rixianchen, their Konoha will have an extra obedient superpower, and they will also remove an unstable factor and avenge the dead ninja of their Sarutobi family. It can be said to kill 3 birds with 1 stone. It is because of these various factors that the 3 generations attacked Rixianchen. But what the 3 generations never expected was that Uchiha Kingching was such a waste that even Uchiha Mikoto couldn't beat him. Then he ran to Rixianchen. He should have used other gods, but he seemed to be kneeling. Now the 3 generations are in an embarrassing situation, and the only trump card is gone, so how to face Rixianchen? What do you want? Sarutobi Hizan looked at Rixianchen with a dark face. Hey, you still have the face to ask me what I want? Rixianchen asked back with a sneer. It's ridiculous that Sarutobi Hizan still had the face to ask him what he wanted. Forget it, you give me the money you embezzled me, and I'll leave right away, so I won't embarrass you anymore. Rixianchen waved his hand and said, living in Konoha for more than 10 years, there are also some feelings. Rixianchen can't really kill Konoha, not to mention Konoha and some of his friends. Impossible. Konoha is what you want to leave or stay if you want. Give it to me. Danzo, the pig teammate, jumped out and let the roots that had been ambushed in advance attack. The sky full of kunai shuriken, mixed with ninjutsu and detonating talismans, flew towards Rixianchen and the others together. This is your own death, Shenliu Otanzing. The powerful repulsion blocked all attacks, and Rixianchen's face was already cold. Is this bullying him without temper? Taking out the scroll that sealed the corpse of Otsutsuki Hamamura, and releasing the corpse of Otsutsuki Hamamura, Rixianchen wanted to have a puppet master addiction. Baiyan, you actually attacked the Hyuga family? No, not the Hyuga family. At first, Sarutobi Hizan thought it was the ninja of the Hinata family, but after seeing the 2 horns on the top of Otsutsuki Hamamura's head, he immediately rejected the idea in his heart. The Hinata family does not have such horns. Rixianchen controlled Otsutsuki Hamamura to wave and kick, and had a different experience. This was the first time he actually controlled a puppet with his own hands. Although Rixianchen once controlled Uchiha to attack the 3 generations of Hokage, Uchiha still has his own consciousness and relies on Uchiha himself for combat actions. Very different. Although Rixianchen only controlled Otsutsuki Hamamura to kick and kick, but Otsutsuki Hamamura's body was too strong. Just kicking and waving made the ground tremble and the wind raged. The 3 generations of Hokage Sarutobi Hizan stretched out his hand to resist the gust of wind, and looked at Otsutsuki Hamamura in horror, wondering where Rixianchen found this monster. Tsunade, Mikoto, Kushina, take Sionin to hide away, so as not to splatter your blood. Rixianchen said something to Mikoto and the others, and then manipulated Otsutsuki Yue to turn into a streamer, instantly smashing the ninjas who attacked him into a fog, which scattered all over the sky. Rixianchen, do you want to be with Konoha forever? Sarutobi Hizan's face became more and more ugly. Dozens of ninjas died all at once. Even if he wanted to expose this matter now, he had to give others an explanation. I don't want it anymore. I'll leave it to you to buy a coffin. If I win this puppet, I'll turn around and leave. Rixianchen waved his hand and made a stone bench to sit down. What are you running? Come back to me. Rixianchen reached out and grabbed it, and Uchiha Kingching, who was sneaking away, was caught by gravity. Billions for a pair of eternal kaleidoscopes shouldn't be a loss, right? Rixianchen said while pinching his chin. What do you want? Uchiha Kingching looked at Rixianchen with a little fear. See if you have potential. Rixianchen's mouth showed a strange smile. Then under the control of Rixianchen, Otsutsuki Hamamura tore off a piece of flesh and blood, and then came to Uchiha Kingching in an instant, and the flesh and blood turned into flowing water and merged into Uchiha Kingching's body. What is this? Uchiha Kingching lay on the ground, curled up into a ball. The blue veins on his forehead were exposed, and his complexion was distorted in pain. This is a good thing. If you can bear it, maybe you can evolve the Eye of Reincarnation in the future. If you can't bear it, the end is death, Xianchen said with a smile. He plans to use Uchiha Kingching as an experiment, inject him with the cells of Otsutsuki Hamamura, and see if he can evolve the reincarnation eye. Although it is unlikely, but try it out, in case it works. What is he doing? Sarutobi Hizan looked at him in the distance and said with a frown, Miss Sarutobi, let's think about how to get through this. The other party is Xianchen who kills without blinking. Okimaru reminded. Let the civilians take refuge first. If the other party really wants to destroy Konoha, I will not let him feel better even if I die. Sarutobi Hizan said firmly. It really doesn't work, so I can only find Tsunade. I hope Tsunade can look at Konoha's face and stop Xianchen. Okimaru shrugged when he heard the words. Now Tsunade is the only one left in the Kainzu clan. Tsunade has nothing to worry about Konoha, and even has grievances against Konoha, but he may not help Konoha. Chapter 130 Leaving Konoha. Uchiha Kingching roared violently. The momentum on his body increased rapidly. Both his physique and chakra volume were rapidly increasing. Looking at Uchiha Kingching who was screaming in pain, Xianchen's eyes sparkled. Is this going to be a success? As long as Uchiha Kingching can survive the erosion of Otsutsuki Hamamura cells, it may not be possible to open the Eye of Reincarnation in the future. After Uchiha Kingching roared, his body fell to the ground, motionless. Failed? Xianchen shook his head in disappointment. At this time, Uchiha Kingching had no breath, and all the cells in his body collapsed under the erosion of the cells of Otsutsuki Hamamura. But it's not a loss to have a pair of eternal kaleidoscope writing eyes. How can the eyes of reincarnation be so easy to get? Xianchen shook his head, contented and happy. Your go-to. Under the control of Xianchen, Uchiha Kingching, who had already died, opened his eyes again, and then used Suzu to stare blankly at the crowd of Konoha. Sarutobi Hizan's face turned even darker. He sighed helplessly, and then looked at Tsunade in the distance. Tsunade, Konoha is also your home, and you don't want the village to be destroyed. Sarutobi Hizan had a begging look in his eyes. For Konoha's safety, Sarutobi Hizan doesn't want his old face anymore, not to mention the character of Sarutobi Hizan. His love for the village is absolutely unmatched. Tsunade turned his head, pretending he didn't see it. Hey, Sarutobi Hizan sighed, regretting it in his heart. He knew earlier that he would not listen to Danzo and target the already lonely Kainzu clan. Otherwise, I wouldn't have completely broken with Tsunade now. Xianchen, you are also Konoha's ninja. Are you so ruthless? Don't you have any ties in the village? Now Sarutobi Hizan can only rely on playing emotional cards, and he will definitely not be able to beat him, even the puppet of Xianchen. Actually, I don't have any hatred for Konoha. Xianchen shook his head and said, in fact, the rift between him and Konoha was entirely because he was unhappy with Danzo, and then he shot at Danzo, and then in order to vent his anger on Tsunade, he killed the Sarutobi clan and Shimura clan, causing him to form a relationship with Sandai and Danzo. Hatred. Speaking of which, Xianchen is also responsible for making such a fuss. But so what? Will I, Xianchen, do something wrong? Even if there is a mistake, it is not on his side, because Xianchen believes that fists are the truth, and he is right now that his fists are big. Then can you stop? Sarutobi Hizan asked hurriedly. You came to trouble me today. If it's so easy to forget, wouldn't I be very embarrassed? Xianchen said unhappily. As soon as he came back from the fight, this group of people came to block the door and added a charge of stealing the sealed book to him, which made Xianchen very upset. If he wants the sealed book, does he still need to steal it? Go straight to whoever can stop him. Chen, huh? Xianchen looked at the Waynoshiri who was coming, his face stunned, and then said, Mr. Wayno, why are you here? Then Xianchen reacted, this should be the third generation invited to persuade him. Hey, Chen, you can have the current strength, and the teacher is also pleased. I also want to not interfere in your choice of teacher. But you also grew up in Konoha after all. Do you have to destroy Konoha? Waynoshiri sighed. Xianchen was silent for a while. Waynoshiri was really good to him at the beginning, not to mention he never thought about destroying Konoha. Konoha and him had no hatred, but Danzo and Sarutobi Hizan had hatred. And it's not that Xianchen hates them, but they hate Xianchen. Since you all invited Wayno-sensei out, I naturally want to show Wayno-sensei's face. Xianchen gave Sarutobi Hizan a deep look. Let's go. Sun Xianchen sealed the bodies of Otsutsuki Hamamura and Uchiha Kingching in the sealed scroll, and then said to Tsunade and the others. Tsunade and the others nodded and left Konoha with Xianchen without nostalgia. Let them leave like this, Danzo said reluctantly. Dozens of people died from his roots, and that's all for now. Who is his opponent? Are you? Sarutobi Hizan glanced at Danzo and asked. I'm going to trouble Wayno-sensei this time. Sarutobi Hizan turned to Waynoshiri and said, if it wasn't for Waynoshiri, with Xianchen's character, Konoha wouldn't know how many people would die. Alas, Wano Shiri sighed and shook his head without saying anything. It was not until Rick Xiangchen and the others disappeared that Wano Shiri turned around and left alone. Hi Xiangchen, Yuikai Hamikoto, Uzumaki Kushina, Conan. Alas, there is also Kaien Tsunade who defected to Konoha. You go to the underground black market to release a mission. As long as someone can kill them, a bounty of 1 billion will be offered. After thinking for a while, Sarutobi Hizan ordered. He didn't let Anbu go after him, because it was all about delivering vegetables to Rick Xiangchen, and he didn't even think about killing Rick Xiangchen when he released the bounty quest, but instead gave him some trouble. It's just that I'm still angry, and I want to feel sick to Rick Xiangchen. If Hi Xiangchen knew that he had just stepped out of the village with his 4-foot, Hiruzen Sarutobi would have someone go to the underground black market to issue a bounty quest and find trouble with him, and he would definitely go back and kill Hiruzen Sarutobi. Young master, as soon as I let you go, you will make trouble for me. Rick Xiangchen became a traitor to shinobi, and it caused a great disturbance in the entire shinobi world. Onogi, Sandai Reikage, and Sandai Kazekage all laughed and screamed. If it hadn't just gone through the war, and the losses in each village were not small, they would start a war again and work on Konoha together. Chen, where are we going? Kushina asked. I don't have a purpose either. Let's go to various countries first. It doesn't matter where I go. Rick Xiangchen shook his head and said, but he must go to the land of water, where there are the 3-tailed and 6-tailed chakras he wants. Now he is only missing the chakras of the 3rd and 6th tails. As long as he gets it, he can try to step into the 6th level, and his strength will usher in another explosive growth. Then let's go to the land of thunder. I heard that the hot springs there are very good, Mikoto suggested. Okay, then we'll set off for the land of thunder. Rick Xiangchen nodded and determined the route. Greedy is human nature, and it is also one of the original sins. I really don't understand why you have to send 1.3 deaths one after another. Rick Xiangchen looked at the corpse lying on the ground and said lightly, those guys in Konoha are really hateful. They actually offered us a reward in the underground black market. I really want to go back and punch them to death. Kushina said angrily. This is not the first time they have encountered an attack. Countless ninjas who think they are very strong, coveting the billions of money, have come to attack Rick Xiangchen and his party one after another. There are all kinds of traps, poisoning, and assassinations. The methods are endless, and Rick Xiangchen and the others are annoying. Just train Xionan. It is because of these people that Xionan's strength can grow so fast. Rick Xiangchen reached out and stroked Xionan's head. Xionan narrowed his eyes, enjoying Rick Xiangchen's caress. Mikoto, Tsunade's sister, there is a small town in front of us. Let's speed up and go over there. Let's see what fun things are in this town. Kushina pointed to the town in front of her. If you like this audiobook, subscribe the channel for more videos like this. Leave some comment and let me know if you guys like this story, or you have a web novel you like and want to hear its audiobook. I will be happy to create them for you. Please like, share, and leave a comment on the video.